Good morning, this is Mark from OnlineStuff.biz and BlueDipper.com. Today I'm going to be talking about Microsoft Access, specifically how to feed criteria from a form to a query. Let's go to our database. I have a pre-existing query here, two tables tied together by current team and team name. So this is a table of players and their current teams. And this is just a table of all the teams in the league. I have grabbed three fields, and I also have a calculated field by subtracting the draft year, which is here, from year now, the current year. It will calculate the number of years the player has been in the league. Let's run this. And we have quarterbacks, we have defensive ends, and we have running backs. This data is not necessarily correct for demonstration purposes only. I'm going to put a criteria in here, quarterbacks, and now I have only quarterbacks. Let's do something a little different. I'm going to go to my cheat sheet, and I'm going to grab this information here, and I'm going to put it in the criteria. Now, for some of you that may look kind of odd. What is that? What are we doing? We are telling the query to look at all the forms that are in this database, then look for the query by position form, and then in that form look for the control box. This is control box, combo box, select position. That's a control on the form, combo box, select position. The trick here though is that none of this exists yet. This form does not exist. And it would also, not only would it have to exist, it'd have to be open for this to work. So it's not going to work the way we want it to work yet, but we can still run the query. The query is just going to think it's a variable, and it's going to say what would give me the variable. And I'm going to say quarterback, and it worked. Let's go back to design view. We're going to leave that there for now. But now we need to build this query by position form. So let's do that. I will save those changes, and I will create form by wizard. I had that query by position highlighted already, so Access is smart enough to know that's where I'm going with this. I'm going to select all four fields that exist in that query. I'm going to do tabular form. In this case, that makes more sense. I'm going to list all the quarterbacks or all the running backs in a table, like that. And I'm going to call this query by position form. And I'm going to open the form or enter information. Now what happened? I don't have any data. I don't have any data because the underlying query is expecting some information. I'm going to make some room here. I'm going to drag over these and select them and move them down. So I still have an empty form, unfortunately. Now I'm going to add that combo box that we talked about earlier. Here we go. Now I could have an existing table with all the positions, quarterback, defensive end, running back. If I did, and that'd actually be a smart way of doing it in some cases, I would click this button. In this case, in this example, I'm going to type in the values I want, and I'm going to do that real quick. Those are the three positions I know exist. Of course, I I put all the possible positions in there. And now if I was doing an update query where I was actually changing the position of a player or adding a new record, I could say store the value in this field, and of course that would be the position field. But in this case, I'm not doing that. I'm using it as a query, feeding the information to a query. So I'm basically creating a parameter. Remember the value for later use. And I'm going to call this position. Now we're not done yet, but we're almost there. Now I've created the control combo box. The combo box I want to create. It's not named correctly though. I want to name it CBO select position. Remember we put that in the query as part of the criteria. So I'm going to put that here. Now the last thing I need to do is create an event, specifically an after update event. So I'm going to use the code builder here, and I'm going to cheat using my cheat sheet. I think I'm going to spend a lot of time walking through the actual typing of this code. Usually you'll be cutting and pasting anyways. And I'm going to put it all right here. What does this do? It after the combo box is updated, it's going to make sure all records are included in the command. Me refers to the current form that I have created. It's going to focus on position, and it's going to find the records selected in the combo box select position. And hopefully we're done here. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to open it back up. And I'm going to select a position. And there you have it. Quarterbacks only. Defensive ends only. Running backs only. So in review, I had an existing query. I used this syntax to tell the query where the criteria is coming from, and then I created these items, the query by position form and the CBO select position combo box, and then I implemented the after update code. We'll look at that one more time. In the code builder, which executes the necessary commands and then sends the information to the criteria, to the query criteria. Well, hopefully that helps. A little complicated, but I wanted to provide a step-by-step approach. There's plenty of resources on YouTube and Google that are kind of haphazard in my opinion. This, I think, covers every step of doing a query by form. Thanks. This is Mark from Online Stuff and Blue Dipper, and check back with us for some more useful videos and instructional guides in the future.